Alrighty. Hey everyone, hope you guys are all having a lovely day out there today. This is going to be a little bit of a shorter stream because I have to go run off to Seattle. But I wanted to talk to you guys about the market because Bitcoin is up today, SPY is up today, the Dow is up today, the Nasdaq's up today. Everything was up after a pretty horrible Friday, and of course a few bad days for Bitcoin over the weekend here. We're going to be, sorry, Loki sees a treat that he really wants because he's been very good today up until this point. I will give Loki a treat in just in 1 second. You guys can see I'm also smoking a cigar here. But I wanted to talk about that, go over some news events very fast, and just kind of talk about what happened to the altcoin market here because I know everybody's excited, but we've been here a lot where we've been very excited after we've gone to all-time highs. We drop back down, we see a small pump, we all go rushing back in, and then, you know, altcoins continue to bleed while maybe Bitcoin holds on just fine. Altcoins feel a little bit more pain there, okay? So, before we get started, happy to see all of you guys again. Hey Mo, happy to see you. This is Loki's little water buffalo treat. For whatever reason, this is his favorite thing to eat. Don't know why, but I mean, you'll see him attack it here in a second. Yeah, see? Focused. Determination. That's not anything I got, really. But anyway, here you go. There you go. Good boy. Takes it, runs away, doesn't even say thank you. He's in his own bedroom right now, chilling up, or chilling out, I would say, right? So, let's get over to the technical analysis component. All right, so, long story short, this is the weekly chart. Things are still working out fine. You know, we hit a little bit of a speed bump up here at one of those older Fibonacci levels, but besides that, we're still looking okay. And we've known about that Fibonacci level up here for quite a bit of time now, so it's not like we're surprised. We're more surprised by all the news that somehow happens around those Fibonacci levels. You know what I mean? Like, it's always like we're going to break through it and all of a sudden news comes out. What would happen if we only had good news for a minute? You know, if things weren't crazy, no tariffs or nothing, what would happen? I bet Bitcoin would probably be like $140,000 by now, but you know what? That's not the reality we're living in right now. So let's talk about why that is. As far as, you know, momentum is concerned, on the weekly chart here, we do have a bullish MACD still, a bearish stochastic, a bearish RSI, and a, let's see what this is right here, a bullish change of character, right? So we got pretty much half and half. Two good signals, two bad signals. And so that doesn't really mean that you should be buying or doing a lot of shorting right now. Typically, when we see those types of choppiness, it just means a lot of sideways action, unfortunately. And I guess sideways isn't really what we want to see here, but it's what we got. And hey, Larry, happy to see my man. You doing some good work? Ooh, looks like you may get some money right there. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm still happy to hold on to all this stuff. If you check out our portfolios, the group portfolio is safe. This is the safe, non-high risk portfolio that we put together about a month ago now, a month and a half ago. We're still up 18% over like the last month and a half. That's really freaking good for a month that, you know, people hope for that for the whole year. Fartcoin is now down 8% after being down, up quite a bit. Now we're down. You can see over here, last 90 days, it was up a total of to $585. Now we're sitting at 357, and the high risk one is up around 1.58%. So we are up a little bit right now, but not great. Really, the safe portfolio is where we're making all of our money right now, which I think is pretty good. However, our worst performer, Bubble Maps, that is down about 38% right now. Everything else, these three right here we're losing money on, but it's not so much, right? Bubble Maps is losing us the most from like a dollar perspective, but Trump is down 4%, BMT is down 37, and Hyperliquid's down 1.45. I believe next week, no, it's a new week this week. Why don't we do next Wednesday, we add to this portfolio a little bit and we top in another $200. I don't think we're gonna do more than that. I wanna make it something average people can kind of follow along with if they want to. So I would say that I want to up this a couple $100 here, so we have a cost basis of $1,200 here, which I think overall should be fine. Now, with Bitcoin on the daily chart here getting a little bit more choppy, we did end up breaking down, but what happens so often in these circumstances, we found a way to bounce off the 50-day moving average here. It happens a lot. The first time we hit it, we usually bounce off, sometimes the second, sometimes even the third right here. But most of the times, you know, it's only on the first attempt here. So we are on the daily charts looking at everything being bearish, 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 bearish. The change of character is still bullish here for now, but we'll see if it does turn around. but because again, the weekly charts are still bullish, at least we got some momentum there, you may say. Now, usually when we bounce off of this, it doesn't last too long. We have a nice little move, we face some type of rejection, and then we start coming back down and we start breaking back down. I don't think anything is going to be different from that. I would expect Bitcoin to probably try to do some type of lower high situation and then go to a lower low and then consolidate before we have a much larger move. So far, that larger move is probably not going to happen until the end of August, so we might see a little bit more choppiness here. But meanwhile, while Bitcoin's doing its choppiness and what's showing out for this month, I would still expect to be buying at these levels here. You know, you go down the list to something more like a, let's just say Ethereum for now, right? You see how fast that sucker was able to get back up to those highs over here? There is enough momentum out there for people that want to buy. I would just say, pick your poison, all right? Let me go over here to auto mode, so everything's automated. Solana, not nearly as high. Maybe that'd be a better hold than maybe Ethereum. Dogecoin, a lot lower than what it was at its highs. Maybe that might be a better pick than Ethereum right now. Trump, nowhere close to the highs it was a few weeks ago. WIF, same thing, right? So I'm probably looking at things like that, or possibly this is between two moving averages. Are there any moving average on the daily chart I may have to look out for? Hey, this 50 right here. If tomorrow is another good day, you could see something like a WIF having a big time up here towards like maybe $1, which would be a nice little boost of around like 6-7% within a day, which for an altcoin is definitely possible. So, you know, it's really that stuff I'm looking for. Are there opportunities? Are there breakouts that I can see that can make some money? For example, Baby Doge is up 5% right now for breaking off of that moving average there. You see Crow is up around 7%. Link is up 5%. Litecoin's up 9%, excuse me. We're doing fine. And I know I told you guys this over the last few days, as far as on X and, you know, all my social platforms, which has been working out pretty well. Your best bet is to buy the dips, because the last time we had this tariff spat, we went down fast, but the tariffs didn't last for too long, and then of course everything kind of came back up really fast, and everybody that didn't buy the dip was kind of like, oh shit, now I messed up. Yeah, right? Alright, and that is old, whatever that line is. Okay, so as far as news, and I'll get to your question here in a second, Larry. Dow rebounds nearly 600 points and wipes out Friday losses. S&P 500 ends 4-day losing run. Everything was great today. Palantir tops $1 billion in revenue for the first time, boosts guidance. Jobs report confirms U.S. economy is slowing sharply. It's slowing sharply, but I think everybody now knows that the Fed is going to cut interest rates. So that's kind of the tailwind that can come after this. We'll have to see, but I don't think they can continue to deny what's plainly in front of the average American. If the average American now knows that we've only had like an average of 30,000 jobs over the last like 3 months, I think they're going to be a little bit more perceptive to say like, aren't we supposed to be cutting rates now? They might not understand the complexities of everything, but they just might say, damn, we might need to be cutting rates, right? And then, to finish off the CNBC news, I should say, the EU is going to delay the planned US tariffs for 6 months to allow for trade talks. All of you guys know that we were going to put more tariffs on the EU. They were going to put more tariffs on us, but we did get a nice little deal out of it. And so, let me just show you this. Trump is very happy with this, but she is not. Damn, that worked out too good in that thing. God damn. Yeah. So Trump got the better side of this deal, as you guys might all imagine. She is not happy because of it. She hates Trump to his core, right? Everything that Trump believes is just against her personal values, the values of the European Union, and all that stuff, okay? You guys have to understand that by now. But they have backed off on those because now we have a deal. And they're going to be working through all the finalizing all the very small little things there. But a deal is a deal, and this is proving that the economic establishment of mainstream media, I guess you would say, is not very correct, because we got a great deal out of Europe, a very good deal. Now, last little thing here, as far as the regular cryptocurrency market and altcoins, last 24 hours, Meme core is shot up out of nowhere. It's still below $100 billion market, $1 billion market cap. If you guys want to day trade something, give this a shot. I was trying to look for this a little bit earlier. This is meme core right here. All right. It's on a decent amount of exchanges. That's spot. Most of you guys are going to want perpetual, where it's a little bit smaller. Instead of 44, we have 30. And usually a lot of them are doubles up. So if you guys, all of those are banned in the USA, funny enough. But K6, I got a link for K6 down below, but that's about it. ZoomX is not, I don't even know if it's on weeks. Oh, if you guys, yeah, most of you guys follow me on weeks right there. So yeah, weeks and below finish there. So if you guys do want to try and have some fun with it, same with BYD, if I got a link down below for that, you guys can do some trading there. This one seems like a great opportunity for day traders though. This thing is booming up out of nowhere, and you can see started up right over here, what, the 4th. So this is like the last month. It had a nice little spike, went down, but it's already climbing back up. I'd watch this one very, very, very closely. All right. Now, as far as everything else, Fartcoin's up, Optimism, Litecoin, all doing okay, but those are reasonable, up 5%, up 6% days, nothing crazy. On the other side here, Toncoin's down, and that's basically everything else is like a meh, right? So, just so you guys know, there are some good movers here, nothing too crazy, but I'm liking it. This is just one of those reminders that, hey, not every country is accepting cryptocurrency like we are. This is Coinbase in the UK. Basically, the UK is starting to realize they're well behind the curve when it comes to cryptocurrency and stablecoins, specifically stablecoins. So you might see them making some moves here pretty soon, and it might start up a stablecoin arms race where everybody is trying to have their own stablecoin and their own like to back up their own currency, which I think will be very good. But I just don't think anything is going to be as good as America's, because we're going to pretty much mandate that we're going to keep all of our money in American stablecoins. Trusted American stablecoins, I would say, right? So we'll see how that plays out. Now, okay, as far as all this is concerned, let me go back over here to Bitcoin for a second. Then I can talk to you guys for a little bit, because this is definitely going to be a shorter stream. I'm probably going to finish this up around 3:45, 4 o'clock. I have to be in Seattle by like 5 something, and I got like a nice shirt on, but I got to put some actual pants on. I got sweatpants on right now, playing with Loki out in the dirt. Do I think finding opportunities has gotten easier over time doing this? I think yes. Most of the time what I like is you can see when there's lots of easy opportunities, but it's for those people who have a time horizon of like 3 to 4 months or longer. There's always so many opportunities for you to take. When you're looking at what's going to happen over the next 5, 10, 20, days, it doesn't really give you the type of oomph you're looking for. But I think it's just nowadays, the more you learn, the faster you can find those good plays out there, right? Especially if you know how to read a 10K report, you're not having to input everything in ChatGPT. Once you can read like financial statements, oh my God, everything becomes so much more simple. But you actually have to take the time to read a financial statement, because they're incredibly boring. They're incredibly dry. But I think reading in general is very boring and dry, so that's why I watch TV. So yeah, I'd say the longer you do this type of stuff, the better it becomes. But like even like this, and you have to just be able to let your money kind of sit for a little bit, right? Like if we go back over here to coinmarketcap.com, go to portfolio. This portfolio has only been on here for a little bit, hasn't been on here for too long. We're at like 2025 is when I put all this information in. I had to go back and tell my old accounts and kind of pull up where I was doing stuff. But you can see like even from a few days, this account went from like $200,000, $202,000, all the way down to $182,000. You can't be like freaked out by those type of movements. You can see they can go higher, then all of a sudden they go all the way back down here, right? You were at 260,000, all of a sudden you're at 225. You kind of have to just let it sit and wait sometimes, and people just typically don't do that. But let me back up here a second. Let me go to Yahoo, not Yahoo Mail. I just want to have Yahoo News, perhaps. Finance. We bought a lot of finance stocks despite them being at all-time highs or close to all-time highs, right? So right now, we're just having to wait. And I'm going to double down into this eventually because I actually got some money behind this. But look at this, might as well go here. Look at the daily gains. 5%, 5%, 10%, 4%, 2%, 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%, 3%. But then you look at the net here, right? The total gain and right loss. Down, 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 down. One's up, but down. The rest of them are down. This one's down 20% since we bought, right? And that's AI. Now, these are all low market cap, high risk AI stocks. But if I hold these for about a few years, I bet they're going to be doing me very well, because that's exactly what happened last time. The last time I gave you guys AI stocks to play around with, or AI stocks to choose from. Oh, and by the way, the unrealized gain so far, totality is down 7%, so it's not a catastrophe here. But that was back in 2023, and that's when I gave you guys calls like Big Bear AI, right? And I did have just a big spike out of nowhere today. Right, 2023 was over here, right? I saw it had spiked over here. I told you guys to buy it over here, and it had a few opportunities to make more money, right? And if you guys would have just held it long term, you guys are fine. You guys may be like, oh my God, well, you know, I bought over here. It went down about 40%, but now I can't hold it anymore. No, you gotta really, you know, you gotta really give yourself some stuff there, because that move right there was 162. If that move right there was 451, if you would have held it and just holding it to where it is now, you'd be up 277%. So it just depends on what you like, you know. I like to hold longer term stuff. I feel like it's always just easier for me, and then I will day trade stuff that has high market cap. It's a little bit easier to read, and I like it, right? It's like I've always enjoyed trading Microsoft or Apple over something like a Tesla, which can be more volatile. All right, that's the type of stuff I like to hold. Tesla is great, don't get me wrong, but I'd rather just hold that shit for a few years, because Elon Musk is very volatile himself. I don't want to deal with that volatility in my day-to-day life. You know, when I'm day trading and stuff like that. Apple, oh my God, like you go over to Apple very fast. Now, Apple's been slow, don't get me wrong. But if you just kind of see the breakouts that happen here, right, you can make some easier trades on the swings of all this. It just can be kind of sketchy sometimes, because there is still, you know, volatile movement here. But generally speaking, you find a breakout on this, you're pretty happy. Now, you go the other way on this, right? Got to wait a little bit before the Apple breakout comes, but once it comes, I'm gonna be very, very happy, because I don't think we're dipping into a bear market here where we have the death cross between the 50 and the 200. I don't think that's happening. At least I hope it's not happening. I think Apple can still grow. My thing with Apple right now is, okay, well, their earnings haven't been fantastic because they're not really innovating anymore. Apple's not an innovative company. They're just a phone company. And if they can't change that, they're probably going to end up coming down. But I'm assuming they can get their act together here. I'm assuming they can get their act together here, Larry. That's a big no. That's a big maybe. See me, big maybe. Things like Google, right? Choppy as can be, but they're still close to all-time highs. They're still making good moves, right? Even the breakout from there to there, you buy that, you still have some good moves for a minute, right? Or even just breaking out to all-time highs. You know that breakout right there was crazy. Boom, launching up. All that stuff works, but like again, you're holding, this holding pattern was like for 91 days. Even if you went half the time, that's still 77, 70 days, something like that. Still making money, but it's always been easier for me to do that type of stuff. And again, you know, what I like about the Magnificent Seven, like the big tech companies, you don't necessarily even have to really dive in there too much. You can go on to a bunch of podcasts. You can even go to Bloomberg, CNBC, Yahoo, and you can just listen to the nerds like that really dive into this stuff. Their only job is to manage like the big tech companies. You can kind of listen to them explain the good, the pros and the cons, and why they have their price targets a certain way. And usually you can trust them, especially when it comes to these bigger companies. It's just you can't, you know, there's a bunch of other variables like Trump and the tariffs or Iran-Israel war, stuff like that. But generally speaking, that doesn't affect Apple too much. That doesn't affect Microsoft too much. It just kind of affects the uncertainty of the people that have money in the markets. Finding trades. Yeah, But again, I'm more of a swing trader, bread and butter. I like long-term investing, which is the easiest. But again, you got to wait a few years. Man, we only live to be like 70 years old on average, right? So, you know, it takes a little bit of time. Day trading, yes, but it's easier to find something you're good at day trading the more experience you get, right? Most of you guys, if you guys are learning to day trade, especially options, or you're doing leverage and like higher volatile positions, choose something that's going to be a lot more stable in your life. So like this stable stock or cryptocurrency. So Bitcoin, bread and butter, easiest thing to day trade in my opinion, especially when there's moving averages involved and stuff like that with momentum. On the other side, right, Apple can be pretty easy to trade. Or even let me show you this. So yeah. I wish, do they have the pattern tool still on here? Give it a second. All right. So this is just a simple tool that's on TradingView. It's only for premium people, but it's basically automatically puts patterns on there. And you put that with momentum, and then you put that on with the change of character, which is the green versus red candles. Usually you're okay, right? You had a rising wedge breakout right here. That kind of extends back to there, which I don't know why it doesn't extend, but I guess it's just trying to not clump it up as much. But you have a breakout right here, right? Nice little breakout. On top of that breakout, you see it go from red to green. You see momentum is good right here, momentum is good right here, momentum is good right there. That's an easy enough reason for me to buy, besides maybe the earnings that were coming over here. And then, you know, if you want to play it smart, you can always add a Fibonacci level on here and just find a good place to start scaling out. For this example, let's just follow the wedge itself. All right. And you can see there was a little bit of resistance up here, a little bit of resistance up here, you know, but honestly, you're probably going to be aiming for this zone for the majority of your scale outs. Those two zones right there. All right. So most people still might be holding. If they bought this breakout, they're probably still holding some over here, but they probably scaled out 20%. They probably moved their stop loss up to here to make sure no matter what happens, they've locked in a profit. And now they're just kind of in this waiting situation. All right. Stuff like that. Or back it up a little bit more. Head and shoulders with a bullish pennant in here as well. Momentum is strong right there, there, which means it's good right here. Momentum is signaling a buy right here. You could wait right there if you wanted to. Again, this is a swinger trade, so you are holding for a minute. And again, this is back when this is November. What happened in November? This was oh, this was like election stuff going on. That's what it was. But yeah, you had a breakout right here. I know it went back down, sure. And your stop loss is probably right there. So it probably didn't hit the stop loss, but it got kind of scary. If you would have just trusted that move, it did take you to a lot higher position. And again, you pull out this Fibonacci level up here. Oh, I guess it said to buy right here, but maybe people might have waited a few days. Regardless, that's earnings. So that's going to make things a little bit different again, right? But regardless, if you buy right here, you're still looking at that zone right there, and it just goes on and on and on. I mean, I know there's so many different things here. Let's see. You have a breakout right there with momentum all good. Again, change of character is important, but it's not the most important. So if you see that breakout right there with everything being good, you pull it up, and then you're looking at this zone over here. See, target, whatever, but I can be a little greedier. I think the whole zone is good, and then you move up your stop loss as necessary. You follow all that, you're usually okay. It's just that, like, instead of having an automatic pattern tool on there, you just find the patterns yourself, right? Like when I'm looking at this, at first I was like, what the fuck is that falling wedge? What the heck is that? Oh, excuse me, rising wedge, what the heck is that? Like, why do they have it like that? And in reality, they need to push this back all the way to here so I can kind of justify the old level of support that was there. See that, this whole level right there? But again, that's just me being too technical here. So all that stuff usually works for me. You just got to put into perspective saying, okay, right now we're in a good spot. Everything's bullish, 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 even though the weekly chart's kind of bearish on change of character. Again, Lux Saga has issues every now and then. Let me try Flux charts. Well, let me put the colors on here. Volume bounces. I don't know if it will. I'm not going to try too much, but this thing is still, I don't know, the same thing. Change of character right here, and it hasn't gone back to being bullish. I would have said we had a bullish change of character there, but I think these ones use like a much longer period of time minimum before you see that change happen. But regardless, we hit an order block and bounced off of it. There's all those kind of nuances, but for me, it's just momentum and patterns, one of the things I plan on doing for you guys here, because I do have the memberships back, is I'm thinking of me actually using something like this, where I have the patterns on here, and I just say, okay, let's look at the patterns for the top 5 stocks this week, or the Magnificent 7. Let's just always use the Magnificent 7, and we'll do that, and then we'll do the same type of video a few hours later, where we just go over all of the big moves that can happen in the cryptocurrency market, and that'd be what, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Dogecoin, ADA, maybe XRP if you want to be a little bit more fun with it, because XRP can go absolutely wild, but it's like it moves so volatilely, right? So yeah, I mean, you just have to find what works for you and then really trust it. But again, I was showing you guys things that you have to hold for a minute here, right? Like this breakout right there, it's only been like a week or so, and now it's getting choppy, people are freaking out. It's profit taking, sure, but again, just depends on what you're looking for. If you want to day trade this, oh, it becomes so much more complicated. Like, let's just go over to Bitcoin very fast, because I don't want to look at all the pre-market stuff. All right. So there was a breakout that happened here earlier. You could have bought that. Momentum was good, right? Right here. You buy that. 15-minute chart. It says target right here, so maybe you only had to hold it for 35-40 minutes. But again, I guess in this circumstance, right, your practice is scaling out right here. So it's just a little bit of a difference, and then it eventually went up to that next level. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong Fibonacci's, but that's how I can make a normal mistake, and why, honestly, you guys hear me say all the time, I typically sell too early, and that's one of the reasons. Oh, I mean, if we're going for the longer one, that just seems like it's a little bit more of a... God, I don't like the way this looks, though, at all. Trying to do the Fibonacci on this one. Yeah, I don't like the way it looks. I mean, it still looks like we can go higher, though, but yeah, I don't like the way that looks. But yeah. It gets a lot more difficult, a lot more choppy. There's like falling wedges in here. That's still bullish. You see a breakout there, but the momentum wasn't strong, so you got to wait for the momentum to trigger up, which is right here. Then, of course, after that, it went higher. But, you know, if you buy it here, your stop loss is still there, so you're still fine. Still get a lower entry price, but it just all depends. There's so many little variables that go around. But, I mean, it just depends on how you want to trade, how much money, how much leverage, and then... Sorry, making sure look doesn't get rolled over. And it really comes down to how many fees you're also paying for that. But this indicator right here, this all charts pattern, it's just only available for premium members, I believe. That's why it's such a little annoyance. Doesn't even have like little like readme section right here, you know? Doesn't even have that. They also have the average directional index. Right, there's a few things that are just only by trading view. Let me see. I mean, yeah, let's not go into like profiles and stuff like that. But there's a whole section, like a whole tab that's labeled patterns, right? all chart patterns, but there's also bearish flag chart patterns only, bullish flag chart patterns only, right? There you go, all chart pattern, here it is. They even have a YouTube video about it. It's 10 minutes long and it was posted a year ago, right? So again, just depends on the tools. Most of you guys, after 5-6 months of like trading consistently, you guys can see the patterns yourself, you know? There are algorithms out there like Lux Algo, Flux Algo, Chart Prime, everything, all of them. They can do a lot of that stuff for you, but you know, after a while, it's just like, which patterns do you like, which patterns you trust? Like here's Bitcoin in the 4-hour chart. You saw how we broke out, but nothing really happened right here, right? Momentum was good in the 4 hours, good everywhere, right? You go over to the daily, well, you know, you can see it was just getting choppy, just getting red right here. Choppy right here. Actually, it was still red right there, still red right there. Where's the justification for doing a swing trade off the 4-hour chart, knowing that all that bearishness is just right there on the momentum side? So it's like putting all the information together. Now, for me, it's actually not that hard because, like, so if I imagine me doing this, oops, and there you go, and you go to the 4-hour chart, you put on all the other stuff we had before, right? Well, what I can do normally is I don't normally look at the charts this is zoomed in. I do this so you guys can see whatever the frick is on my screen for streaming, right? Right? Go to 110%, and you could shrink all this stuff, and you're looking at things like this, or you're on the 15-minute chart, right? You can see what a nice upward move. If we break down from this and the bearishness is there on the 4-hour chart or the whatever chart, I'll take advantage of it, but everything has to be kind of aligned, which is why you typically see me show you guys stuff like this. Is this the right one? No, this is not the right one. Did I delete it? I might have. I tried to clean up a little bit of this stuff here. I got stuff I haven't used in a minute, because I don't like to overwhelm you guys with a bunch of stuff on here. There it is. No, that's not. Oh, this is gonna annoy me. I might have changed the name. Day trading, Flux tutorial. Something like this. Don't know why it's all set to this though. All right. Oh, it's because it's smart money. Yeah, smart money fucks with all this stuff here. But I'm not even gonna go set it up because that's not the point. But yeah, I'll usually look at charts like this so I can kind of see what's happening. But all of these numbers will be a lot smaller. So you can go over here into your settings. You can change them all to 12, which is my default. I don't know if you can read that, but I can read every number on the side of that chart right there. And then what I'll do is I'll put this not on this monitor. I'll have it over here on my wide monitor, which can show everything that I need. I have everything there. I'll have whatever trading software I'm running, which is maybe like a week's or a BYD file right now. I'll have it over here, and it'll be the same exact thing minus all the colorful patterns and momentum and everything. But I'll place the number, right, make sure the number's kind of aligned, right? Place the trade, wait 45 minutes to a couple hours for like a nice little day trade. That can make you a few $100 right there. That can make you a few $1,000 right there, depending on how fast that move is, right? And you just kind of, you're done for the day after that one trade, right? Or you can do it another way, which is swing trade, make $15,000 that month and just be smart and budget. But like, most people just do a mix of it, right? While they're swing trading, you know, they have that swing trade. They don't have to trade again for like another few weeks. They can always just day trade here and there when they see a setup, right? There are a lot of times where I'm just looking for setups and they just never materialize enough for me to feel comfortable buying them. And that's my day. I didn't even make a trade. I could have been playing video games over here while watching the charts over here, right? Get a little ping or something like that. Look over. Nah, not really what I'm looking for. Back to the video game. Could be as simple as that. But yeah, it takes time, but I think it's not incredibly difficult. It's more of just trusting the process when it actually does happen. It's just that cryptocurrency, of course, can be a little bit more volatile, so people feel that. And then typically in in cryptocurrency, people are usually trading with leverage, and they're usually trading with leverage that is more than they are comfortable with. But they want to make quick money, which means they gotta, you know, put up a lot to try to make that money fast. Which is fine, I guess, but like as long as you know about that when you go into it. Yeah. Maybe I'll show you guys this more. I did make a whole tutorial about this, but I don't know if it got many views. Let me check. Oh, again, I am making money on YouTube again. Thanks, guys. I'm up. I've made $147 over the past like 3-4 weeks. It's slow start, I know, but I'll get back up to the thousands that I was at before. 1,000 I was at before. That was like an average of 1,000, nothing crazy. Search across my channel. I think it was like a patterns. Easy automated trading patterns. This changes everything. It was only a minute long, but I wanted to show you guys this and kind of say, hey, look at this. It got 1.5 thousand views, and somehow it still gets teeny bits of views to this day, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so it is what it is. But yeah, maybe I'll make another tutorial about this one for you guys. I think that could be kind of fun. And what do you guys? Oh, let me take this off here. This clutters up the. Again, I don't like the clutter, but I know a lot of people are fine with it. I am used to clutter, but I don't think most of you guys are used to clutter. And hey, Larry, taking notes, right? So I can get on a rant sometimes, yeah. And hey, really happy to see my man. Same to you, Wilder. I sold my Bitcoin at 121 and I'm back in now. Split on Ethereum and Bitcoin, hoping for some good news. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think buying both of those is going to be a solid choice here. Ethereum is up quite a bit today, up around 6%. You've already had a good return on your investment so far, right? Bitcoin has historically performed bad in August. You think this August will be different? I think we have some momentum on our side. To me, I think this is going to be much more of a choppier August where we have an opportunity to hit all-time highs. But by the end of the month, yeah, we could definitely be down. That being said, the fact that it looks like we're going to have rate cuts in September, I would just be dollar cost averaging strongly into August, even if we have a dip or something like that. So far, I mean, August has been what? This is come down a little bit, right? Maybe at the worst, we might have a month like this back over here, and like we had last December, right? That's probably what I'd be expecting there. But I think we have a chance of making all-time highs again. But I wouldn't be surprised if we have to wait until September or October to see that meaningful next jump here, which sucks because we want to see Bitcoin go higher. I get it, but like chances are that's probably what's gonna have to take. But I don't think it's gonna be something like this, right? Like if you see the big nasty moves for cryptocurrency, this is February, that's August, that's May, August, November, August, December, January, and that was kind of a bear market type of thing. So you could just imagine April, May, June. But I'm trying to show you like some of the Augusts. August was bad here. August was bad here. August right here. And so let me actually take off those because that's going to look very annoying actually in a second. There we go. All right. That August we were down 8%. This August, we were down about 11%. And this August, we were down about 14%. Let's take, what, at 15% being the worst one over to 14%. That still puts us at 97,000 if it was to be the worst case scenario. And then what we see happen after that, of course, is we're still in the uptrend here, which is generally pretty good. I think I'd be fine with that. That was February. Where was August over here? Right there. Okay. Look at the daily chart for this August. August 1st through August 31st. Basically a sharp downward move, but at the end of the month, it was still pretty choppy. Still choppy, right? you can definitely see how we might end up having a choppy move to the downside here, bouncing off of the 200 daily moving average and then just ricocheting back up for a crazy all-time high move down the road. So yeah, I'd probably say this month is going to be choppy, but we can also go to all-time highs and then still be choppy here. But I don't expect us to be like miserable during the month, if that makes sense. I think Sony is going to be a big winner now that they're getting into the chip business. You know, I own a tiny bit of Sony, not enough to even make me money if it goes up like 20%, right? A tiny bit. I'm hoping they can go in efficiently and get the job done. I have questions if their management can do it, but I'm hopeful. I guess I would say I'm hopeful. I'm nauseously optimistic, is what they said in the election, right? Nauseously optimistic that they can do something about it. The appearance of getting into tech, though, I think will be a driver for them. I'd like to see them. Actually, I haven't looked up Sony in a minute here, so I'm hoping they can poach some talent. That's the news articles I want to see. Like here, maybe if they actually are been poaching talent. Hiring. Chips talent? I don't know. Yeah, this was back in 2023. Sony reportedly plans to cut over 100 jobs at Israeli chip factory. Israel, no, that's not really enough. Past a year, let's be generous. Some August. There's not a lot of it, but you know what? We'll see, right? Sony has some. They can work those Sony employees to death basically over there. So we'll see. We'll see. Different work ethic over there. XRP on the euro looks nice. XRP is something that's managed to just be something you hold and it'll go up over time. But man, it took a long time for it to hit those all-time highs. I'll tell you that now. And hey, Tyler, that's a question that's been asked, I think, like a million times. Like, why do altcoins move? And let me see if I can explain it using ChatGPT in the simplest of ways here. Because every time I try to do it, I get on a wild tangent talking about money flows and stuff like that. Why do altcoins follow Bitcoin so much? Explain it like I am 18 and new to finance. Oh, wait, easy way to say it. Here you go. Think of Bitcoin like the big boss or the blue chip stock of the crypto world. It was first, it's the most famous, and has the most money in it. Here's where the rest of the market, altcoins, follows Bitcoin. Bitcoin sets the mood. When Bitcoin goes up, everyone gets hyped, just like when the most popular player on the team scores, the whole crowd goes wild. Investors think if Bitcoin's doing well, maybe the other coins will, right? Right now, Bitcoin makes up 40 to 50% of all crypto money. It's like Apple in the stock market. If Bitcoin crashes, it can wipe out billions of dollars. Think about how the Magnificent Seven is basically propping up the entire stock market. If those start to go down, everything goes down. Doesn't matter if you're having good earnings or not. Everything goes down, right? Altcoins depend on Bitcoin trading. Most altcoins aren't bought with dollars, they're bought with Bitcoin or Ethereum on big exchanges. If Bitcoin crashes, people stop trading or selling altcoins for safety, tanking their prices. Investor psychology, herd mentality, I'm going to go into that one. Liquidity and trust. Bitcoin is seen as a safe-ish crypto. Big investors trust it more. If they're nervous about the market, they move money out of altcoins into Bitcoin, or they exit completely. That move drains money out of the smaller coins. All right, those are a few of the reasons right there. The one I would say, like the most important to the least important, I would say right now, Bitcoin sets the mood and investor psychology are the same thing. And they're the same thing because they really rely on number two because Bitcoin dominates the market. After that, I would say it's liquidity and then altcoins depend on Bitcoin trading. I'd probably say in that typical order right there. It's going to be that way for a long time. I don't see another crypto token coming up to Bitcoin's level for a very, very long time, or even overtaking Bitcoin for a very, very long time. There might be a tokenized stock or something that does the trick, but I think that's going to take a minute anyway. And hey, Max Pat, happy to see my man. Yeah, just so you know, Max, I am switching up my streaming schedule here pretty soon. I have to be in Seattle in about an hour, so I'm going to end the stream in a little bit. But I'm going to try to stream around 3 to 4, 4 to 5, something like that on a daily basis. But if I ever have time, I'm going to try to stream a little bit and talk with you guys in the mornings, late at night, and just do an extra stream every day. But the stream may only be 15 minutes. It only may be 10 minutes. It may be a half an hour, whatever. But let's say there's some breaking news and I have the ability to like make a stream about it. I think I'm just going to do that instead of making a video and posting it. I might as well just make a stream, say, hey, everybody, whatever, and get that going. I think they'll get more streams out there for YouTube to see, more views for you guys to see. And what I'll do is every time that I finish a stream, it shows up. I can move the link over to Opus Clip. And basically I can have it automatically ready to go. It'll crop it up for me. Like these are the videos that you guys are going to see tomorrow based off a video I just posted. Like that's not even posted yet. But you see all this stuff right here. It's the new format for the shorts. I'm going to see if this works out or not. But yeah, basically this is where it's going to be. I got to change the text to be in the bottom instead of the top, but I'm testing at the middle first. It's trending right now. Job market chaos. Whatever. But you guys will see snippets and stuff like that as well. So I'm building out a workflow. I was like, you guys know, I started getting more serious over the past week. So I started using ChatGPT to help me. I already got out of ChatGPT, didn't I? All right. Well, basically ChatGPT has been helping me. And week over week, right? I got like 59,000. I got 58% more views this past week than the week before. My watch time was a little bit lower, and then my subscribers 9% less. But I'm getting more views, which I think is pretty good. It just depends on what type of content I'm making. People really like me to talk about Trump versus somebody, Elon versus somebody, or Israel versus somebody. Those are the big money makers for my channel, but sometimes it just doesn't have enough to do with finance for me to cover the topic. Maybe I'll do that down the road, but for now I'm just like, meh. And I also got this new software called Metricool. So basically all of my Twitter posts that I'm doing and stuff like that, I've already pre-written the Twitter posts for like general stuff, and I do more stuff, but now I got stuff automatically posting on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Right, so I got all my data to kind of see how it's working out, and I got all my posts planned for X and stuff. You can see I put out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 short form videos. Say the other one hasn't gone through yet, but I put together all these short form videos. Later on tonight, I'm going to upload tomorrow's short form videos. And if you go to last week, right, I started Friday, and that's what all the posting I'm doing. So I'm like really hitting this YouTube thing hard now that I'm actually gonna make money off of it again. So no matter if you guys are on YouTube, Twitter, X, whatever, you guys should be able to find my content. You guys should be able to watch it, and I can make money off it with ads. And with that money, I'll basically just keep on making portfolios for us to have fun and track. And then I'm hoping we look back at this AI stock one in a few months or something like that, and we're actually profitable. Because right now we're down about 7% or around $73. Which is fine, but it's not really what we want to see. We want us to be up like 50%, 60%. But you know, what can you expect after holding for 2 weeks? Let me see. Let's see. Like right here, this one says most of my stocks are overvalued right here or near for value. None of mine are undervalued because big tech is just going to kind of run. So this is a higher risk type of portfolio. But again, I've been here before. I've done my AI stocks. They usually work out pretty well. The fundamentals, there's not really that much fundamental, and we don't have performance. That's fine. But you know, it's stuff like that. So you're talking about if everything is truly its own project according to blockchain theory, the only way this could happen is that ERC20 is not really a dependent layer. Think about it more like this. You know, Apple's its own stock, Microsoft's its own stock. Why would Nvidia has a bad earnings report, does Apple and everything else fall down as well? Apple's doing great, Microsoft's doing great. Why, when Nvidia has a bad day, does everything else have to have a bad day? It's the same concept. A lot of it's just mentality. Like, if you're out there in the stock market looking at it every day, you can see out there that everything is being propped up by the Magnificent Seven. As long as those are good, I still feel good about investing in a bunch of other companies out there, like those AI companies I just showed you, right? And feel fine investing with all that stuff. But if I start to feel really uneasy about earnings when it comes to Nvidia, and really uneasy about earnings when it comes to Apple and Google, oh my God, they're having massive layoffs because their capex is too much, they're not getting a return on that. Well, I'm gonna be like, wow, maybe I should start trimming off some of those other stocks that are not the Magnificent Seven, and I'll start to just hold on to that cash, right? And I'll wait until the Magnificent Seven drop a little bit and everything else drops, because you know all those other stocks are gonna drop down even more. Think of it almost as like a NASDAQ compared to a Russell 2000. If NASDAQ drops down 1 to 2%, the Russell may drop down 3 to 4%. That's kind of the vibe I'm talking about. Hey Josh, I appreciate it. Yeah, I should be making more tutorials here. I'm gonna start up on the second channel. I've been so bad on that second channel, guys, so bad. I should be making videos every morning, but like this morning, I woke up at like 10 o'clock, and I should have had the video out by 8 o'clock. So I gotta figure out a better way. I'm gonna be toning down my cigar smoking, even though I'm going up to smoke right now in Seattle. But I gotta do some work for a friend up there. I'm helping him get together a portfolio, so I will see how that works out. But we're gonna be smoking while doing it, right? I'm gonna try to not go out as much to see if I can make some morning content, or when I get back at midnight or something, I just hop on my computer, make a 5 to 10 minute video talking about my thoughts, and then I just push it out there. I think that's probably the most realistic, knowing myself that likes to stay up. I'm a night owl. I'm not a morning person. If I wake up at 8 o'clock in my bed, I can scroll on CNBC. I can watch all the YouTube videos and Bloomberg videos and read all the articles in my bed. So if I wake up at 8 o'clock, I might not get out of bed until 10 o'clock. Then I can go weigh myself from my weight app, go take a shower. Well, at first I let Loki out, then I go take a shower, do all that type of stuff. And you know, by that point, like my first video is due at 10 o'clock in the morning for this channel, and I haven't been doing that for a minute. So it's just like, I'm just gonna keep pushing out content and seeing how you guys like it, see what you guys like, what you guys don't like, and then kind of just double down on that type of stuff. I just can't double down on the too divisive stuff. Like you guys, not you guys in general, but like the audience, they really love when I support Trump or I bash Trump. They really love when I bash Jerome Powell or I love Jerome Powell. They really like when I talk about how the economy is crashing and burning or it's soaring to all-time highs. We're so sensationalized nowadays that you kind of have to do something crazy in order to do it, which is fine. You know, I told you guys I'm following a lot of other YouTube channels right now, and like Andrew Jick, right? 53 minutes ago, America's economy just broke. The jobs were fake. Sensational. That's the type of titles I've been making lately, if you guys hadn't noticed. Why XRP could 10x. XRP's not 10xing anytime soon. But again, sensational. Who really owns America? Oh, damn, the Israeli flag? Shit. You know what I mean? What are you grunting at me? Loki's over here grunting at me. And hey, John Mark, happy to see you. Mattis, Nico, happy to see all of you guys in there. Josh, no worries. You want to come say hi? Yeah, come say hi. Where's Loki at? I'm ignoring you. Yeah, If you ignore him, that's when he wants his pets and stuff like that. See his freaking claws? Yeah. Let me just toss that away. I know. I don't want you breathing in smoke. Yeah, you sure good boy. Well, I can't touch your paws, but you can't scratch my chest. Damn. Shit. Alright. One of you guys had one last question. Sure. Mike, find the stock WWR. Why is it so high? That's not going to be a technical. Westwater Resources. Why it was so high around launch? WWR. Westwater. Oh, so what you have to look for in this is go over to the daily chart. You're going to see these little S's on the bottom, and that means this company has been performing so badly that it kept on going to zero. And when a stock gets too close to zero, basically below $1, they get a warning from the exchange. In this example, the New York Stock Exchange, they say, hey, you're below $1. You have to get back above $1 if you want to remain on our exchange. All right. So what they'll do is say, hey, okay, we have 100,000 shares worth $1. Well, why don't we cut that 100,000 shares to 20,000 shares and multiply the price of the stock by 5? And now we got, you know, instead of 100,000 shares for $1, we got 20,000 shares with $5. Thereby, the shares now worth $5, so it's above that $1 threshold. So if I go over here and I show you this, let me just go over to this one. Look on the bottom here, right? Go to the daily. They're hidden in here, right? And you can see one right here. Split. A split 1 to 50. They didn't do 5 like I was. They did 50. Over here they had another one. 1 to 12. Over here 1 to 10. Right? So the price was never, ever, ever at 193,000. It was never there. Their company was just being ran so poorly, and it's so bad that they want to keep it on the exchanges. That's how they probably make their money. If you go over to yeah, it only has a market cap of $59 million right now. Most of the altcoins we trade have more than that, right? Let's see, bought a little bit. Oh, they haven't even been selling that much. Wow, they must just have pretty nice cushy salaries. Yeah, but it's just, it's worth $59 million. The entire company is only worth that much. It's not worth a lot. Short float is 2%. It's not that bad. All right. That's it. Nothing crazy. It just doesn't take a lot of money to move this type of stuff. But if you go to monthly, yeah, it was never that high. Never that high. But okay, everybody, I'm going to see you guys a little bit later. I will be live. No, I'm going to put a couple of videos out more today. I think I'll start doing 2 lives a day tomorrow. Somehow this whole stream, because I was ranting, because you guys asked questions, which I love. It lasts an hour. But yeah, you guys will see more streams out of me. There'll be a little bit more pop-up streams besides the daily afternoon one. And then after that, you'll see more shorts and more polls and stuff like that. Just keep it across. I'll be more active on X and stuff like that as well, on TikTok. So let me know what you guys think, and I'm happy to see you guys all kind of show up in force today. I really appreciate that. Good Monday. If you guys have any questions, I'll be here a little bit later. Thanks.